In this video, we're going to review how to compute the distance between 2 points in the coordinate plane. You will need to know the distance formula, which we have here in the following box. The distance between 2 points, labeled P and R, that have coordinates x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, can be found as follows. The square root of the difference between the x coordinates squared plus the difference between the y coordinates squared. You do have some flexibility in how the 4 coordinates are entered into the formula. You'll note that because we are subtracting the x coordinates and then squaring, the order in which we subtract won't matter because we're going to be squaring that difference regardless. Same goes with the difference between the 2 y coordinates. The order won't matter because we will be squaring. It also doesn't matter if you put the x coordinates in the first set of parentheses or the second because addition is commutative. Nonetheless, let's follow exactly what we have here in this example. We are going to find the distance between the points -2, 2 and 3, -6. Let's start by labeling the 4 coordinates. -2 will be x sub 1. +2 will be y sub 1. +3 will be x sub 2. And -6 will be y sub 2. What I like to do when I'm computing distance is I like to go ahead and set up the template of the calculation first. So I draw my radical symbol. I prepare the 2 sets of parentheses with an addition sign in between. And then I know that I'm going to be squaring differences. So doing this in advance helps me to avoid some careless sign errors. So addition in the middle, you're going to be subtracting within the parentheses, squaring those differences, and then after you're done adding those squares, then you're going to take the square root. So I'm going to insert the 4 coordinates as follows. X sub 2 is a 3. X sub 1 is a -2, so we're actually going to be subtracting a -2. In the second set of parentheses, y sub 2 is a -6. And from that, we're going to be subtracting y sub 1, which is a +2. Now that we have substituted correctly, let's clean this up. First of all, in the first set of parentheses, this is going to become a 3 plus 2. In the second set of parentheses, we have -6 minus 2. Three plus 2 is, of course, 5. -6 minus 2 is going to be a -8. Remember that you have to follow the order of operations, so you have to simplify within the parentheses first. 5 squared is 25. -8 quantity squared is +64. Remember that when we're squaring a negative number, a negative times a negative gives us a positive product. Finally, we'll add 25 to 64, and that is going to give us, what, an 89? So the distance between these 2 points will be the square root of 89. Now this is what we call an exact answer. We can try to simplify square roots by looking to see if the radicand, which is the quantity underneath the radical symbol, if it contains any factors that are perfect squares. Perfect squares are, of course, 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, etc. So let's write the first few perfect squares here. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, etc. We see that 89 does not include any perfect square factors, so this will be our final answer. If we instead were asked for an approximate distance, an approximate distance is using our calculator, we would give an approximation. Again, this is an exact answer. Using a calculator, we would find that the square root of 89 is approximately 9.43 if we go out to 2 decimal places.